Hello, welcome to my presentation for STEM Clubs Week 2023. I'm sure you're enjoying all the presentations and discussions about AI this week. Today's theme is artificial intelligence in travel, and I'm going to talk to you about AIs Garage. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Cordelia Ezhilarasu. I'm an AI research scientist with SLB Cambridge Research. I'm researching on developing intelligent maintenance systems to prevent failures and excess emissions. Previous to this job, I did my PhD and postdoc at Cranfield University. Here, I worked for more than 5 years with Boeing to develop AI reasoning system that can help Boeing, especially the aircraft maintenance, to understand what's going on with the aircraft and how to prevent surprise failures. Previous to my research life, I've worked in a semiconductor industry and a clean energy industry where I developed several automated trackers to monitor the health of the systems. So you can see a pattern here. I have worked across several industries, but my main area of focus has been maintenance of systems and how to make them more intelligent. In my presentation today, I'm going to talk to you about how AI is used for maintenance. But before diving into that, let's get started with AI story. There are several definitions around AI. According to Google, AI is the way in which computers can be made to copy the way humans think. In general, humans have always got inspirations from how nature works to design any products. For example, we have our aircraft itself, which was designed with inspiration from the albatross bird. In the similar way, artificial intelligence is the field that is inspired by human intelligence. The concept of artificial intelligence is not something new. The possibility of artificial being with intelligence has been around for centuries, starting with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which was about 2 centuries ago. Most of you must know Britain's hero Alan Turing and his role in the Second World War. 70 years ago, when the research on AI was very new, Turing suggested that future computers could be intelligent enough to confuse humans and make them wonder whether they are talking to humans or computers. And he was spot on. Nowadays, we really cannot differentiate a chatbot from a human representative as they are being very accurate. If you think about it, Google search engine uses AI extensively and it's been around for at least 2 decades now. So now that we know AI is not really something new, let's see some of the most common applications of AI. AI is widely used in banking and share markets, especially for cybersecurity applications. It is mainly to prevent frauds and to keep our money and identity secure. AI is very advanced in gaming. All the non-playing characters you find, the free-roaming games, the strategy games, the scoreboards you see, AI is in everything. Spam filters. This is commonly seen. Our mailboxes get scanned through and filtered for junks through AI algorithms. Robotics. They use several forms of AI applications. Some examples of robots can be grocery delivery or robot vacuum cleaners. We kind of see robots everywhere and they use a lot of AI algorithms. Next most common application is weather forecasting. Weather forecasting uses data that they get from satellite or from aircrafts flying around and many other places and applies AI algorithms for accurate weather predictions. The final one of my examples is recommendation systems. When you watch Netflix or any OTT platform, you get recommendations on what to watch next. Similarly, when you shop online, you get recommendations based on your purchase history. These recommendation systems use AI algorithms to find a pattern based on your interests and suggest more products in line with your taste. Now that we know how AI is commonly used, let's see what it is used for. AI is capable of many functions. Remember when I said AI is being developed based on how humans think? So when researchers develop AI functions, they try to mimic how human brains work. Our brains carry out many functions. Say, for example, you're moving to a new school in a new neighborhood, and you have to take bus to reach the school. The first thing you look for is to see the timetable of the particular bus and plan your schedule accordingly in order to reach the bus stop on time. The first day is always new, and so you plan, and as you repeat these tasks over the next few days, these kind of come to you automatically. Now that's planning and automation. Now you meet new classmates from different parts of the world where talk in English but with different accent than yours. So you adjust your listening to understand them, much like how you are listening to my accent now. That's language processing. When returning home, you wait for a bus, but it is too late due to rain. So you predict it is going to be a while before you reach home and you update your parents not to worry about you. That's reasoning. It's raining heavily, you cannot see much, but you see a flash of lights slightly far away and you guess it to be the bus and predict it will reach you in a minute. That's perception. And if this goes on for a week, you're not new to school or to the bus anymore. You would predict when exactly the bus would come depending upon the weather. That's learning and pattern recognition. These functions come to you naturally as we grow up because the brains are powerful and amazing. For AI, these functions are being programmed to deal with specific tasks and applications, and they are not perfect. Finally, we come to today's theme of AI and travel. AI is used in almost all forms of travel these days, and in aviation, AI is used in a variety of functions, starting from automated ticket pricing to autopilot and air traffic management, which deals with how to schedule flights taking off and landing in the airport. AI helps in automating these tasks. Automobile sectors has been experimenting with self-driving cars, which uses AI. But it's not just that. The GPS in the car also uses AI. The way Google Map or Waze shows us how much traffic is in our route and how long will it take for us to reach a destination, it uses AI for those accurate predictions. Also, apps like Uber uses AI to show the availability of drivers to confirm bookings and also in updating the prices. In trains, you can see underground tubes in London, trams in major cities, and even the transits used between terminals in London Airport. All of them are autonomous. They use several functions of AI for their seamless operations. Buses use AI for making better schedules, to provide live updates, and basically to be more punctual. Ships also use AI for various functions. Cargo ships are trying to be more autonomous, whereas cruise ships are using AI to calculate the amount of food required for the holidaymakers, how much to stock, and what to cook based on the passengers' interest. This will please the passengers as well as help avoiding food waste. A more interesting recent application is helium balloons. Google was experimenting with helium balloon, making it steer from Puerto Rico to Peru for providing internet to remote areas. The self-steering balloon kept steering off track, and the scientists did not know why. Later, they figured out that AI-driven balloon was using an ancient form of sailing technique, making it a zigzag pattern to stay afloat in bad weather. This was really unexpected, but it shows us the extensive potential, also the risks of using AI. I have now shown you some example applications of AI in different forms of transportation. AI's presence can be seen throughout the life cycle of a vehicle, starting from design and development to when it gets manufactured and deployed, and when it gets into operation and for maintenance, and finally, when the vehicle gets retired, recycled for other applications. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm really a maintenance researcher, so next, I'm going to talk to you about how AI influences vehicle maintenance. So what if an AI runs a garage? What would it be like? I'm sure most of you know Marvel superhero Iron Man and his AI assistant Jarvis. In the movies, when Iron Man flies back after a mission, he asks Jarvis to check how the suit is doing. Imagine what questions Iron Man would ask Jarvis. First, he'd ask, is everything working well? If not, what is wrong? Once Jarvis tells him something is wrong, Iron Man would ask how to fix the problem. He'll also be interested in knowing how long can he continue with this fault. So he'll also ask Jarvis, will the fault affect the next plan? How long can it work well given the current condition? And when should he possibly fix the problem? Now, Jarvis, being a super intelligent AI, will get answers to all these questions and give Iron Man a plan for his future use of the suit. Now, these questions posed to Jarvis are really very important. Why? Because these questions can be asked to an aircraft as well, or to your car, or even to your bike after a ride. In case of an aircraft, after each flight, the aircraft maintenance will check if everything is well, if there's any problem, how to fix it, when to fix it, is it trivial or will it affect the next flight, and so on. Only when the aircraft is in good condition or the problems found are trivial, the aircraft will be deemed airworthy for its next flight. Now, the questions on the left side, asking what's wrong with the aircraft, are usually called the process of diagnosis. The questions on the right, checking how long can the aircraft fly with the diagnosed fault, is called prognosis. These terms, diagnosis and prognosis, are borrowed from none other than the human body and the medicine field. When we go to a doctor, they check what's wrong with us and diagnose the problem. And they give us medicines, tell us how long will it be like this before we get better. And this is called prognosis. It is really not surprising here to see the same questions asked to Jarvis or to the aircraft can be asked about us. Because, as I mentioned before, most technologies developed are inspired by human body and its functions. So we try to treat an aircraft in maintenance in the similar way to a doctor treating a patient in the hospital. Now, we get these questions asked to us. How do we know what is happening to us and how do we communicate that with the doctors? We feel what is happening to us because of our senses: sight, listen, touch, taste, smell, balance and movement, body and awareness. These senses help us perceive the world outside and differentiate it with what is happening to us inside. Based on what we feel, we communicate with the outside world by talking in the language that others understand. So, in order for the aircraft to talk to us, the aircraft needs to have senses similar to ours and talk to us in the language that we can understand. And how is it possible? This is the reason we use a variety of sensors across the aircraft, which imitate some functions of our senses, like image scanners for vision, smoke detectors or gas sensors for smell, microphones or noise detectors for hearing, temperature sensors or for fire alarms for touch, proximity sensors for taste, motion detectors for movement, and vibration sensors for body awareness. These are just a few examples of sensors used in the aircraft. Data from these sensors are taken out for analysis and they show the health information of different systems of the aircraft. Remember, I mentioned there are two factors needed for communication. First is the sensors and second is the language. It is not easy to understand what the aircraft means through its data or how to interpret its health information. This is where scientists like me come into picture. We access the data from the aircraft, develop AI algorithms and systems that can do some functions that our brains do to understand what the aircraft says. This will help us diagnose the problems in the aircraft and prognose their future. Developing AI functions to understand what is happening to aircraft is challenging but not impossible. Maybe when your generation starts researching in this field, one of you can develop Jarvis for our aircraft. In the meantime, these AI functions will help prevent any surprise problems in the aircraft before it could happen and increase the efficiency of the systems. This will help majorly in reducing emissions and carbon footprint. Imagine your car breaks down in the middle of the road and how much traffic there will be because of the breakdown. It is much more worse when an aircraft breaks down. It will prevent other flights from landing, which will burn unnecessary fuel and emit unnecessary gases. All these can be prevented by on-time maintenance of the aircraft with the help of AI and will help you reach destination on time. So I have now given you an idea about how we use AI for aircraft maintenance and where the inspirations come from. In the next 3 slides, I'll ask you a few questions which I'll encourage you to think about or debate upon with your friends. How much do you use AI in your travel? Think about which are the AI tools that you use, starting from GPS to tickets booking or hotel booking. How much AI do you use? Next, could your vehicle have feelings or consciousness? We talk about how the vehicles will have intelligence, but what if they can be sentient, talk to you about their feelings, if they have any feelings? How would the future be like then? And my final question, can the intelligence from other beings of nature be considered for AI? In many definitions, we found that AI is mainly inspired from human intelligence, but are we the only intelligent beings on Earth? Some animals and even plants are found to have some sort of intelligence. Can we get inspirations from them as well? Think about it. Those 3 questions, I would like to complete my talk here. I hope you enjoyed watching this presentation and have gained some inspiration to study AI for your future. Good luck and goodbye.